So now moving on in the account of post-creation, we have the woman who is deceived, the man who is not deceived. They have both taken and eaten of the fruit. Let's continue on and see what happens in this account. Genesis chapter 3, we're going to read verses 7 and 8, which says, "Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden." You see here in verse 7 that their eyes were opened. They knew they were naked. This was immediate, right? Immediate shame. Immediately, innocence is lost. Immediately, they know that there is a fear of exploitation. There is a fear of sin. Immediately. Right? Just a few verses earlier, they didn't possess this knowledge. Right? Again, Genesis 2:25, the man and his wife were both naked and not ashamed. But now in 3:7, their eyes were opened and they knew they were naked. Before, their nakedness was a sign of a healthy relationship. It was a sign of no shame, no fear, no exploitation. Now there is fear. There is exploitation. There is a lust. Right? The perfectness of creation has now been ruined. In the day wherein they disobeyed, God solemnly warned that both a physical and spiritual death would become their heritage. The body now became subject to this physical death. Decay is now occurring inside their bodies. The soul instantly died, and that it was separated from the communion with God. Adam and Eve can no longer have perfect communion with God because they are not innocent. This is seen immediately in how the man and the woman act when the Lord comes to meet them. They hide themselves. Verse 8, the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees of the garden. They're now ashamed of the fact that they're naked. They're now ashamed and they're fearful of God. Right? That fear has entered, but it's not a good fear. This is a bad fear. Immediately they lost their perfect communion with God. Let's see what happens here. Genesis chapter 3, verses 9 through 11. "But the Lord God called the man and said to him, 'Where are you?' And he said, 'I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.' And he said, 'Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat?'" God is not searching for the man because he hid well. This isn't a hide and seek moment, right? Where you get this perfect hiding spot and you're, oh, I'm hiding. We cannot hide from God. He is omniscient. He knows everything. He's searching for the man because the Lord wants the man to admit guilt. And so he does. He calls out for the man, and the man says that he was afraid because he was naked. God knew straight away what happened. He knew that the man had disobeyed the one command that he gave, and that was to not eat of that tree. The one test. And so then the man begins to shift the blame. And we see this a lot with men. They have a hard time taking account of their actions. Let's continue. Let's see what the man does in Genesis chapter 3, verses 12 and 13. It says, "The man said, 'The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate.' And the Lord God said to the woman, 'What is this that you have done?' The woman said, 'The serpent deceived me, and I ate.'" Adam does not just make a simple confession. Yes, I ate it. He should have, but he didn't. He blames God first. You see that? The woman whom you gave, right? God, he's talking to God. The woman whom you gave to be with me. He first blames God, and then he blames the woman, right? She gave me the fruit of the tree. Adam is trying to rationalize his sin. He's trying to become the victim. Wow. Isn't that something that people do today a lot? They try to rationalize their transgressions. their evil to become the victim. If only you had done XYZ, I wouldn't have done that. We see that happened from the beginning. Adam is trying to rationalize this sin to become the victim. Today's age, well, that's all over the place. People trying to rationalize sin to become the victim. So after he rationalizes this, he blames God, he blames the woman, then he finally admits it. And then I ate. It's possible that he was trying to minimize his involvement with the sin. I mean, people do that all over the place today. They rationalize away their evil actions, and then they try to minimize, see, I was just a little victim here. Sorry, not the case. You transgressed the law. You transgressed the one command that God gave. So the man blames the woman. And then the woman does the same thing. She blames the serpent. Her answer is less accusatory than Adam. She doesn't say, the serpent you created, right? Neither does she bring up that the man didn't try to stop her. She just, following Adam, she only confesses at the end of her sentence. The serpent deceived me and I ate. She doesn't say, the serpent you gave me deceived me and then I ate. She just says it. I was deceived and I ate. But as we saw in verse 7, it was the woman who took the fruit and the man who followed. It was willful disobedience that started with a temptation. Right? The both of them willfully disobeyed the Lord God. Both of them ate of the fruit that he said not to. The one fruit in this entire garden. We don't know how many plants there were, but everything that was a desire to be for food was there. They both transgressed, they both disobeyed.